Everything has been different to the QMJHL with COVID protocols and whatnot, but no team perhaps has had a stranger experience than the Charlottetown Islanders because you haven't had any access to your own rink. What challenges has that provided thus far for the team? How have you been able to work around that?
Quite frankly, it's a big challenge for our support staff. Kevin Elliott and Spider McNeil have done a wonderful job. Luckily, they're veterans that have been through a lot of different scenarios here in this league, but it's a trying time not to be in our own building, but we're fortunate that UPI has great facilities. We've been able to go there. We set up shop there for about a month. We've recently at least moved back into our dressing room, so we started to build some continuity in our rooms. But it is what it is, and I think, as you and I were talking about off air, we're all adjusting to new normals, and this is just another parameter of the existence that we're in right now.
Of course, a big week for Lukas Cormier. He doesn't even have to change colors, going to the Vegas Golden Knights, and maybe could have been even picked higher had he been able to play more the last few years. Tell us about Lukas getting picked by Vegas.
I'm an extremely biased opinion here, but I think they might have got a steal at 68. I really think he's close to a first-round talent, and as you alluded to, had he not broken the foot last year and missed a significant amount of time, combined with the fact that the season ended, I think there would have been a lot more looks on him, and he would have been a lot higher. But at the end of the day, it's still a special day for a young man to get drafted in the NHL, and I think he goes to a great organization that looks after their player development, and we're thrilled for him.
The Charlottetown Islanders were on their way to Cape Breton in March when the season got abruptly halted. Tell us about that bus trip back in March and maybe reflect upon a season for your team in a competitive Eastern Conference last year.
Well, it certainly added to the, bizarreness of that entire start to the pandemic. Things kind of hit so rapidly. One day you're making preparations for a stretch run and getting ready for playoffs, and literally, your bus turns around mid-stride on a highway and your season comes to an abrupt halt similar to everybody else. But ours was a little bit different season. Ironically, I thought we were starting to play our best hockey just as we stalled, and I know that's easy for everyone to say, but we had struggled a little bit to find our way. It had been in fits and spurts, and we'd had some success, and then we dropped back down again, but we started to get some consistency away from the puck. I thought we were going to be a tough out in the playoffs, but I guess we'll never know.
One player who was key to that team, and is obviously key to you this year, is Thomas Casey. Tell us about his growth in his time in Charlottetown and how important he is to the team this season.
He's emerged now as an offensive force, and when he first made the team as a 17-year-old on a veteran-laden club, it was because of his speed, tenacity, and his penalty-killing ability. But that's the beauty for those of us that are around junior hockey, like you and I are for a long time. It's really neat to see these kids mature and emerge into different roles, and he found his legs under him with his confidence offensively last year. And in order for us to achieve any goals this year, he's going to have to be a leader. He's going to have to push that 40-goal mark, and it was really nice to see him get off to a great start.
You look ahead to tonight's game against the Cape Breton team, one of the few teams you probably didn't play in preseason in the Maritimes. Obviously, a lot of changes with the Eagles. What do you know about this Eagles group?
Similar to our team from a few years ago, where a lot of people want to focus on who's not in their lineup. But when I focus on the guys who are in that lineup, it's still a really good hockey team. There's a foundation. That team got used to winning. They've had some success in the playoffs. First was Marc-Andre, and then obviously they looked like they were loaded for bear last year. I'm sure the fans are very disappointed that the season ended, but a lot of quality veterans there. Sean Element's the captain, and he's an emotional heart and soul leader. He's a hard guy to play against. Grimard's a goalie that learned under Mandelis, but is ready to blossom and bloom in the number one role. And then some real solid defensemen led by Baker. So I think they maybe don't have the depth they had last year, but they're still a very formidable team.